By the end of this video, you will know exactly how to reduce the amount of people saying, I want to cancel my appointment in your med spa. We'll talk about the systems that you need to set up in order to prevent this from happening so that you get more appointments showing up and you're able to turn cancellations into reschedules. This is an exact standard operating procedure I've pulled from my private community of med spas where I teach med spas how to scale to 100K per month, increase their profits, and create a business asset that actually pays them instead of them paying it. And I want to do the same for you. So let's get into it. For how to reduce appointment cancellations in your med spa. Now, this is a pretty obvious topic, but after looking at everything, I realized that we didn't have this specific video in the course. So here I am adding this after doing a call with a med spa owner in our program today, and her say, hey, faced a lot of cancellations in the month of June. I figured, why not roll out a masterclass to explain to you guys what I explained to her. So let's dive right into it. Now, guys, to reduce appointment cancellations in your med spa, there's a couple things that you want to consider, all right? The first thing is you want to consider you need leverage. A lot of you guys don't have leverage, okay? And what I mean by that, if the person wants to cancel, they can send in a text. There's no repercussions. They can just, send in an email, say, hey, cancel my appointment. There's no leverage for you forcing them to follow a process that allows you to have the conversation to figure out why they're not canceling. Okay, so you need leverage. Now, how do you get that leverage? One, you need to collect deposits, simply put. So collect deposits. This is not a video on how to collect deposits or what to say. Collect deposits, okay? And you need to get at least a $20 deposit. Now, here's why we need the deposit, and that's because it gives us leverage. So this policy follows these guidelines. One, deposits are non-refundable if canceled under 48 hours. So it gives you amicable time to book someone in for the spot that they're freeing up 2 days later. That's very important. So no matter if they did cancel or reschedule, we can still make money in that spot for efficiency reasons. Cancellations or reschedules must be made by a phone call, not by text or not by email. So I know a lot of you guys allow your clients to text or email you, I want to cancel. By getting a deposit, when you tell them, hey, I'm collecting this deposit, I want to let you know that in order to cancel or reschedule, you must do a phone call. We do not honor text or email, and you could put this in multiple places. This is going to give you a leverage so that leads need to call you or patients need to call you in order to cancel. Meaning you get to have the real conversation of why are you canceling and why are you not just rescheduling? Remember, if you're getting more cancellations than reschedules, that means there's something emotionally going on where they no longer feel like whatever they booked themselves in for is of use to them, right? They don't feel like it's valuable. So I need to have a conversation to figure out like what changed from our original phone call to now that's leading you to want to cancel. Whatever's changed or whatever's missing, I want to insert what's missing and get them rescheduled so I can keep them on the books, okay? And obviously help that person because, nothing's changed really in that 3 days, guys. All right, so this is why it works, right? It adds friction to casual cancellations, people just willy-nilly on your schedule. It helps identify the cancellation reasons and recover the appointment, and it also filters out low committed leads, okay? Now, the next thing you obviously need to do is consider now when you start collecting these deposits, you are going to get objections. How do you handle those objections? Now, we obviously have a video on I don't want to leave a deposit, how to prevent objections. There's a whole nother masterclass on that. But I want to layer this into this masterclass and say you want to use a humanized, layered objection handling process. Meaning, if I say, hey, we require a deposit, and they say, I don't want to leave a deposit, you need to have a policy around what you will allow in this situation. So our policy in one of the clinics that I worked at, the first clinic that I worked at was, when they say that, one, we try to handle the objection once. We use a framework to handle that objection. We try to use another framework if they say no again. That's 2 layers of objection handling. Our receptionist must have used 2 layers of objection handling before getting to layer 3 and 4. Now, assume you go through layer 2 and they still are saying no. Number 3 is a backup payment method. Means they said no to the online invoice or the Stripe link, and now we do backup payment method, which is less risk for them while still giving you the commitment. That's going to be something like an e-transfer, a Zelle, or PayPal, things like that. Now, if they say no to that, at that point, you're 3 layers deep. They've said no twice to the original method. They've also said no to the backup method. And at that point, I just disqualify them empathetically. And it sounds like this. Hey, Susan, I've tried to offer as many flexible options as I can to support you getting the results you were looking for, but it seems like we're not aligned just yet. If anything changes and you do want to move forward, feel free to reach out and we'll gladly get you booked in. Does that sound fair? At that point, Susan's going to say, yeah, that sounds fair. Maybe she'll reach out to you when she does gain that confidence to leave a deposit because you follow her on Instagram. She keeps seeing your ads. She'll come back to you. Or at that point, she says, you know what? Just take my card. All right. Empathy. Being empathetic here is really key. Okay, look. Now, guys, another thing when it comes to cancellations, and I'm not looking at you guys exactly. I'm looking up at my screen here, so bear with my eyes. Another thing is you need to train your team on objection handling. If your team's first time, hearing I don't want to leave a deposit is on the phone, then you have ultimately failed them. Your team members need to be trained on this before they get into the game. They need to do the practice before the game. So who needs to be trained on objection handling for deposits? Appointment setters and front desk coordinators, receptionists, people who are booking these appointments. They are the gatekeeper for, reschedules and cancellations. So here's some tips for you guys. Do not role play the entire script. Role play just the part where someone leaves an objection, like I don't want to leave a deposit. So a lot of times people will do 20 minutes of role playing, but they're doing things that the receptionist is already good at. Just do 20 minutes of like hardcore objection handling looping, right? So that you get really comfortable in that frame. So skip the full script, practice only objection loops, use real examples from your own no-show and cancellation logs. Make it sound like those people who are canceling, and get the calls of those who cancel reviewed. Now, when I say get those calls reviewed, you need to get these reviewed by a sales manager or a sales consultant, okay? Do not get your sales calls reviewed from people who don't know how to sell, okay? If the person reviewing your calls does not have the sales frameworks to educate you if they're right or wrong, then there's no point of you getting it reviewed from them. Get it reviewed by a proper sales manager in your clinic, or reviewed by someone like myself or one of my sales coaches, someone who's been in the weeds and done thousands of calls and has transacted a very high amount so they could give you the clarity on what it takes to get the results that you're looking for. All right, some bonus tips are going to be ensure you're using the right script. You will never get a deposit and you'll never prevent no-shows, reschedules, or cancellations if you don't use a correct sales script on the original call that gets the prospect to emotionally invest in the appointment. They must feel like, I have a problem, Rashawn has a solution, okay? This appointment is going to bridge the gap. Me showing up to the consultation is going to bridge the gap from my acne scars to this clear skin that I'm looking for. The consultation is the gap. I must go to the consultation to bridge the gap, right? Why do I want to bridge the gap? Because I want to feel more confident and more beautiful. If they don't feel that emotional attachment, it means your intro calls are not that good. You need to make those good, or people are going to think that this is a very surface level appointment. And it's like, yeah, no big deal if I cancel. Okay. Obviously do the obvious, guys. Reminders, 48 hours, 24 hours, 1 hour before, 2 hours before. Include your cancellation policies in your Google invites if you're doing Google invites on a Google Calendar. Have automated voicemails that may send out and include this. Pre-appointment welcome videos where before the appointment, they get a video to explain who you are so they know, like, and trust you before the appointment, decreasing the likelihood of them canceling or rescheduling. And nurture in all ways. This is a really important point here. A lot of people just do reminders. They just book the appointment, but the highest level people will nurture in multiple ways. They'll have YouTube videos that are providing value. They'll send prospects or patients lead magnets, micro ways of solving their problems before they get to the appointment. Example, you book a patient for microneedling to solve their acne scars. A lead magnet before the appointment would be sending them an ebook, right? A one-page breakdown, breaking down the most common things we do on a day-to-day that lead to acne scars and how to solve them. Great ebook, provides them value. They see you more as a trusted advisor than just a salesperson. You're giving them value. They're ready to show up, get more value, and listen to whatever solution you have. IG content does the same. YouTube videos do the same. Warm campaigns on Facebook can do a similar effect where you post that content, you boost it to people who have booked an appointment, right? Or become a lead. That's what we call a warm campaign. Content created specifically for people who have booked or people who have become a lead, and it's essentially pushing them over the edge, making sure they move forward in the buying process. Super tiny budget. You don't want most of your budget going there. Very tiny budget. These are just some bonus tips. That last one is super advanced, so if you want to talk about that, let me know. And this is what that template looks like for the policy of saying, hey, we don't honor texts and emails. We only honor phone calls. Guys, I promise you, if you do these things, you will reduce the amount of cancellations in your spa. It doesn't mean you're going to make them obsolete, but you will definitely reduce them. So take these tips, crush it, and I hope this allows you to reduce the rate of cancellations. Quick side note, guys, if you are a med spa owner looking to scale your business to 100K per month, increase profits, or just create an asset that runs on its own that you can maybe one day sell or pass down to someone else, you should definitely click the link in our bio, join our MediLaunch program where we're helping hundreds of med spa owners do the exact same thing right now. I would love to see you guys on the other side.